Hello, Holy Trinity parishioners. Father Michael here in our beautiful church. I pray all of you are healthy, happy, and remaining as holy as you possibly can during these trying times. Father Charles and I have been very busy these past few months with our young people, celebrating First Communion and Confirmation Masses and loving every minute of it. We were able to assemble our parish council and have already met twice, concentrating on welcoming home all of our parishioners. We are now back inside our beautiful church for weekday Mass, and soon we'll be celebrating Sunday Mass inside the church. Just wait for that. We will also be connecting with our liturgical ministers, our lectors, Eucharistic ministers, hospitality people, and sacristans, and hopefully several new ministers to get ready for our grand reopening in the church for Holy Mass. Many of you saw and enjoyed my video of my Vocation Story, Part 1. Thank you for your kind words. I ended the video at the end of my 24 years of employment with the Walt Disney Company and entering the seminary. Disney was very kind to me when I decided to leave the company. I wasn't exactly sure what my plans were when I decided to leave. I just knew it was time for me to move on. I never thought I would stay at Disney for my entire life, but some of the top management thought so. Someone said, "Michael, if Disneyland were to close, ever close, who is going to turn off all the lights and turn in the keys?" Nice sentiment. I had a very special time at Disney and learned a lot. After my lovely and generous going away party with 100 of my closest friends, it was time to seriously think about my future. I was too young to retire, although I thought about it. The first thing I did was get with a resume specialist to put my work experience in education on paper. I never had to use a resume before because all of my promotions were within the Disney Company and they knew of my abilities. And I never had to apply for a new position because they approached me. I have to say, though, my resume was quite impressive. No sooner did I send them out to companies with a clever cover letter did the opportunities start coming in. I took advantage of 3 opportunities, 3 different companies. 2 of them were out of state. By this time, my discernment of becoming a priest had resurfaced. God never forgot me. One interview I remember perfectly because even though I was highly qualified for the job, the HR manager didn't see that sparkle needed for the position. It was an upper management position with salary to match, but I guess I had something else in mind. At the end of the interview, the HR manager came out and said, "You don't really want this job, do you?" And I said, "No." I thanked her and knew what I needed to do. I needed to discern my vocation to the priesthood full time. So I decided to take a trip, a long road trip across country. I called it my trip of discernment. On this long 2-month road trip, the seeds that were planted in me back in childhood needed to be addressed. I traveled back east via Interstate 10 to Florida, then up the East Coast on Interstate 95 to Boston, where my relatives lived, and believe it or not, my parents were visiting at the same time. Oh, and by the way, and believe this or not, I filmed my entire road trip with my handheld camcorder. Remember those things? Camcorder? I have over 3 hours of unedited footage of the beautiful scenery of the United States, and with my unscripted voiceover with lovely background music, this video is truly priceless. Besides visiting family and friends along the way, I stopped at many Catholic churches to pay a visit. I've always liked experiencing Catholic churches wherever I was traveling because this time was quite special because I had an underlying reason for stopping by. I could visit with a priest who didn't know me and share that was in my heart without too much fear. I could speak freely. These were very special moments, and they helped me with my discernment. When I shared my thoughts of becoming a priest, every priest's response was similar. "Keep going in the right direction," they said, which meant to me, continue on I-10 or I-95 or I-80. Keep praying and listening to God. There was an instance in the mountain region of New Mexico where I was the only car on the road about 5 o'clock in the evening. The sun was going down. It looked beautiful, but I needed to pull over and just have a conversation with God, more like a shouting match. But I was doing all the yelling, and I screamed, "God, what do you want from me?" And I heard his voice, and it most certainly did not harden my heart. What I heard was, keep going in the right direction, which meant stay the course. When I arrived home, I had the courage to make an appointment with my pastor, and after discussing with my vocation director, and my pastor was not astounded. In fact, he said, "Michael, why did it take you so long? Everyone knows about it. We've just all been waiting for you." And I thought to myself, I thought this was a secret. Well, with the support of my pastor and the vocation and the diocese, I went on this thing called a Come and See weekend at St. John's Seminary in Camarillo, California, to see what the seminary was like. I did, and I loved it. The seminarians and the teachers and priests were very hospitable, and I felt at home. At the end of the weekend, the two facilitators, a priest and a religious sister, asked me what I was thinking. In other words, was I ready to apply? I said, I think so. The religious sister said, trust and just take the leap of faith. And I did. That next week, I began the application process, which was extensive, and had to inform my parents because I needed their sacramental records. My parents were thrilled, but they were sworn to secrecy because I wasn't ready for anyone else to know. After I accomplished this huge task of gathering all the information needed, including medical and psychological exams, I submitted my application and waited and waited and waited until finally, after 3 months, I received the seminary's response. And it was clear in the first 6 words of the letter, "We are happy to inform you." I called my mom to tell her the great news, and she said, "That's great, honey. I knew it all along." Since I owned a home, I had decided to sell it, which took only 2 hours because demand was high in the real estate market in 1999. Aside from my mom and dad, my brothers and sisters were very excited for me, my nieces and nephews too. I moved back into my old bedroom in my parents' house, and then a few weeks later, I made the big move to St. John's Seminary in Camarillo, California, which was no small feat because I couldn't bring very much stuff, small room and all. And then my seminary journey began, and what a journey it was. 6 years of study and travel and praying and homework, all good. I'll save my seminary years for my third vocation story a little later. Please know that Father Charles and I love serving all of you here at Holy Trinity. I want to thank you on behalf of my 94-year-old dad and family for your participation at my pastor installation last Sunday. I was thrilled to have Bishop Kevin install me as your pastor. We continue to pray for all those who are sick with COVID-19 and those who succumb to it, as we continue to be safe and smart with the protocols. Please stay in touch with our Holy Trinity website because we have a lot of events and liturgies planned over the next several months. Father Charles and I look forward to meeting more and more of you as you return to Holy Mass. Until then, please know that you are loved and prayed for every day. Please stay healthy, holy, and happy, and God bless you and your families always.